Cracking the Whip. On Monday, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu congratulates the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control (NAFDAC) on retaining the World Health Organization's Maturity Level 3 status for the regulation of medicines and vaccines. The global health regulatory body conducted a benchmarking exercise from May 28 to May 30, 2025, accessing NAFDAC against globally recognized standards for regulatory performance. NAFDAC attained ML3 status in 2022, becoming Africa's first national regulatory authority to achieve this milestone in regulating medicines and vaccines non-producing. In consonance with the World Health Organization policy, periodic reviews are conducted to ensure sustained compliance. The President commends NAFDAC's management and staff for their professionalism, consistency, and dedication to safeguarding public health, noting that this achievement strengthens Nigeria's standing as a reliable partner in global health security and pandemic preparedness. He assures that his administration will continue to support NAFDAC in its journey towards achieving World Health Organization's Maturity Level 4, the highest global standard of regulatory excellence. Still on Monday, the Department of State Services (DSS) arraigned 5 men before a federal high court in Abuja over their alleged involvement in the June 5, 2022 attack at St. Francis Catholic Church Owo in Ondo State. The 5 persons, Idris Abdulmalik Omeza, Al-Qasim Idris, Jamil Abdul Malik, Abdul Halim Idris, and Momo Otuha Bubakar are to face trial for the attack, which claimed over 40 lives and left over 100 individuals injured. The 5 defendants were arraigned on a 9-count terrorism charge filed by the DSS. They are, in the charge, accused among others of being members of the Al-Shabaab terrorist group with cell in Kogi State. The defendants are also alleged to have carried out the attack in furtherance of their religious ideology. They pleaded not guilty when the charge was read to them by an official of the court. Following their not guilty plea by the 5 defendants, prosecuting lawyer Callistus Eze urged the court to order that they be remanded in the custody of the DSS pending trial. Also on Monday, Comfort Emerson, the passenger accused of assaulting airline officials aboard an Ibom Air flight from Uyo to Lagos, has been charged in court and remanded in Kirikiri Correctional Center in Lagos State. Tunde Moshood, Special Advisor on Media and Communications to the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, confirmed the development in a post on his official X handle on Monday. His statement comes amid warnings by the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority that stricter enforcement actions will be taken against passengers engaging in disruptive conduct, which has been on the rise in Nigerian airports. On Tuesday, Justice Peter Lifu of the Federal High Court Abuja has fixed September 24th, 25th, and 26th for the federal government to conclude its 10-year-old prosecution of a national security advisor, Colonel Sambo Dasuki, on alleged unlawful possession of firearms and money laundering charges. The government was also asked to call its remaining witnesses, if any, and tender exhibits to establish its allegations against the retired officer. Similarly, Dasuki, who was put on trial by the defunct Muhammadu Buhari regime since 2015, amended 7-count charge on unlawful possession of firearms and money laundering, is expected to open his defense in the charges. At the last proceedings, a witness of the federal government, Mansour Mohammed, claimed that upon the arrest of the former NSC, his houses in Abuja, Kaduna, and Sokoto were searched for firearms and money. The witness, who was led in evidence by a senior advocate of Nigeria, Oladipupo Okpasheyi, claimed to be exhibits keeper with the DSS. At Dasuki's house, he listed 2 compact sticks of Freedom Radio on Jokolo, 2 GTP bank checkbooks, 2 BlackBerry phones, Nokia phone, flash drive, Apple laptop, and statement of account as part of items found in the house. Also on Tuesday, the Nigerian Correctional Service has confirmed security breached at the Medium Security Custodial Center, Kefi, Nasarawa State, leading to the escape of 16 inmates. The Deputy Controller of Corrections and the Public Relations Officer, Nigerian Correctional Service, Umar Abubakar, in a statement made available to our correspondent in Abuja, said the incident occurred in the early hours of Tuesday. According to the statement, some inmates breached the security of the facility and attacked personnel on duty to compromise the situation, enabling during which 16 inmates to escape custody. It added that during the incident, 5 personnel of the custodial center sustained varying degrees of injury, with 2 currently serious and receiving urgent medical attention at a government health facility. It added that 7 of the fleeing inmates have been recaptured and are now in custody. The Controller General of Corrections, Sylvester Ndidi has visited the facility and ordered a thorough investigation into the escape. He promised that no staff will be spared if found culpable, just as he has directed all immediate search to recapture the fleeing inmates in collaboration with sister security agencies. On Wednesday, the National Security Advisor, Malam Nuhu Ribadu, has assured that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration remains committed to strengthening the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, recognizing its critical role in national security. Ribadu gave the assurance on Wednesday at the NDLEA headquarters in Abuja during the commissioning of 48 new operational vehicles. The fleet, comprising 38 SUVs and 10 sedans, will be distributed to zonal, strategic, and state commands, as well as key directorates across the country. He commended the agency's chairman, Chief Executive Officer, Brigadier General Mohammed Buba Marwa, retired, for transforming the NDLEA into a more effective and result-oriented organization. Ribadu attributed the progress to discipline, commitment, and strong leadership. Still on Wednesday, ahead of the Saturday's by-election in Ibadan North Federal Constituency, candidates vying for the House of Representatives seats have signed a peace accord. The candidates from the People's Democratic Party, All Progressive Congress, Labour Party, African Democratic Congress, and APGA signed the accord at the INEC office at Godi, Ibadan. Speaking shortly before the signing, the INEC Resident Electoral Commissioner, Dr. Adeniran Tella, said the gathering demonstrated commitment to promote. In their separate remarks, candidate of the People's Democratic Party (PDP), Mr. Folajimi Oyekunle, and flag bearer of the All Progressive Congress (APC), Mokola, others within the affected federal constituency will remain shut for socio-economic activities from 12 a.m. on Saturday. On Thursday, the House of Representatives launched a full-scale investigation into the Nigerian Community Action for Resilience and Economic Stimulus (NG Cares) program over its alleged failure to impact vulnerable Nigerians. Lawmakers accused the program's leadership of failing to account for the disbursement of $696 million meant for palliative measures. The funds, sourced from a World Bank loan and government contributions, were intended to provide livelihood support, food security services, and grants to poor households and small businesses. The House Committee expressed displeasure over the absence of the program's leadership during its oversight section, moving for a full probe. The committee goes into a brief executive section, after which it addresses parliamentary reporters. They challenge the managers of NG Cares to present verifiable lists of individuals and groups who have benefited from the intervention so far. Still on Thursday, the African Democratic Congress (ADC) has raised the alarm over what it described as desperate and dangerous plots by elements within the government to undermine and destabilize Saturday's by-election. The protest, which was led by former governor of Kaduna State, Nasiru El-Rufai, on Friday, the Minister of Education, Professor Tunji Alausa, has decried poor access of tertiary institution staff in Nigeria to structured capacity building. Alausa disclosed that studies revealed that over 70% staff faced economic pressures and professional development gaps. Speaking at the official launch of the Tertiary Staff Support Fund, Dr. Lausa said the initiative remains an integral part of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Speaking at the official launch of the Tertiary Staff Support Fund, Dr. Lausa said the initiative remains an integral part of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's renewed hope reform agenda for education, which places people, the greatest assets, at the center of transforming our education sector and growing our economy. According to him, TISSF is a joint initiative of the Federal Ministry of Education and the Tertiary Education Trust Fund TET Fund, implemented in partnership with the Bank of Industry. He revealed that about 248 eligible institutions nationwide, covering all federal tertiary institutions and selected state-owned ones, are expected to be part of the initiative. Other stakeholders at the event stressed the relevance of the initiative, noting that the welfare is as important as the investment being made on the sector, just as they restated the commitment of the Tinubu-led administration to the welfare of its workforce. Still on Friday, a group championing the emancipation of Yoruba land, Yoruba Self-Determination Movement (YSDM), has appealed to President Bola Tinubu to revisit the case against Mr. Sunday Adeyemo, also known as Sunday Igboho. The group made the appeal during a press conference held at the Nigerian Union of Journalists (NUJ) Secretariat in Ibadan on Friday. It will be recalled that the federal government, during the administration of late President Muhammadu Buhari, declared Igboho wanted. The government at that time directed security agencies to arrest Igboho anywhere he is found. The Yoruba Self-Determination Movement, however, is appealing to Tinubu to revisit the case. YSDM Deputy Leader Homeland, Architect Okpeoluwa Akinola, while addressing journalists, said that Sunday Igboho had vigorously and selflessly campaigned against the killing, maiming, raping, and kidnapping of Yoruba sons and daughters. He said the case against him should be revisited by the Tinubu-led federal government. The group, however, lauded the recent action of the Lagos State House of Assembly on the renaming of streets and areas, affirming that the state belongs to the Yoruba land, while rebuffing those describing Lagos State as no man's land. Lastly, on Friday, the group of constitutional lawyers has dragged the chief financial officer of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, Dapo Shegun, before the Federal High Court in Port Harcourt. The lawyers and ethnic youth leaders from across the country filed a suit seeking his removal, investigation, and prosecution over alleged mismanagement of the refinery rehabilitation project and the acquisition of OVH Energy by NNPCL. The legal action filed marks the third case brought against Shegun in recent months as pressure continues to mount over the failed turnaround of the Port Harcourt and Warri refineries. The plaintiffs alleged that under Shegun's leadership as executive vice president downstream, the refinery rehabilitation project resulted in the loss of over 5 trillion naira with no visible progress or outcomes. The legal team argued that despite ongoing investigations into the failed refinery project, key reforms within the petroleum industry. And that's all we have for you on Track in the Week.